We're here with Tim Ferriss at Web. Tim, thanks for having a chat with us.
Sure.
One question was if you were starting over again and you couldn't pick yourself for this, but you had to pick 3 other guys to look up to and model, who would those 3 guys be?
Yeah,
and why?
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely opt out of looking up to myself. It depends. It depends on the type of business I was trying to build. So if I'm trying to build a startup that would then be sold, should we go with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would look up to Tony Hsieh, Zappos. I would look up to Mark Andreessen, co-founder of Netscape, and I have to pick 3. I would look up to a guy named Mike Cassidy, who started a number of companies, took one $500 million, exit in 500 days. Very good at fast execution. Off the top of my head, I'd say those are 3. And those are 3 people who can not only found companies, but are very good at running companies. And they're all extremely skilled at multiple areas of the business, which I have a lot of respect for.
Very cool. Tony was on stage earlier talking about how important the values of Zappos are to the success of the company, and getting the personal values integrated with the company values. What are Tim Ferriss's values?
So in terms of values, I think it's context dependent, but I believe in the importance of education. My parents did. I've recognized how many advantages I've had and how I've come to be where I am because of some of the opportunities that have been availed to me. So long term, certainly addressing education in the U.S. and in the meantime working with groups like Donors Choose to improve public school education in the U.S. and groups like Room to Read to build libraries and spread literacy worldwide, which I think is step 1 to addressing a lot of the socioeconomic and societal problems that otherwise addressed are just band-aid solutions. Education, you need to train more problem solvers with critical thinking, and that's the only way you're going to do it. So that would be my answer.
Very cool. And on the marketing and PR side, who's doing it really right and who's doing it really wrong? If you were to pick an individual or a brand.
Who's doing PR and marketing really right, and who's doing it really wrong?
The whole social media thing.
With social media, I think that Kevin Rose is very good Kevin is a brand. Dig is certainly a brand. Whatever Kevin will do will also be a brand, but he's exceptionally good at engaging on multiple levels without coming off as overly forceful. I view social media as one tool in the toolbox, and so what I think is wrong is when larger companies in particular will have their offline marketing and then they'll have like 1 or 2 people who are the social media people, and the left hand just doesn't talk to the right doesn't talk to the left. And it doesn't make any sense to me that those are integrated because they're so intertwined. I don't see the logic in that. That's my feeling on that.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, last question, I promise, is if you're hiring somebody, what are you looking for and what are you staying away from?
What I'm looking for are people who are able to predict needs and problems beforehand. So, i.e., I don't give them a command and they follow that command to the letter and nothing else. They need to be able to improvise, ask intelligent questions, suggest better solutions. I'm not looking for a drone. I can get that elsewhere if I'm hiring someone full time, which I tend not to do. But I'm looking for someone who probably is not going to be with me more than 2 to 3 years. Like, they're too smart and too driven to stay with me. But in the meantime, they will provide incredible value for those few years. I think that anyone who's really a superstar, you're not going to keep them for very long. So that's the type of person that I'd be looking for.
And red flags?
Red flags would be not delivering anything on time, or not delivering even one thing on time. I test for reliability first, so I don't care how smart someone is, I don't care how good their skill set is if they're late. I just have no patience for it. A lot of things depend on the pieces fitting together, and to have those pieces fit together, you need to have things on time. So I would rather have like a B+ student, so to speak, delivering stuff on time reliably, than an A+ student who's always turning things in late. And unfortunately, people who turn things in late or get things done late tend to do it consistently. So that's a huge red flag. I have no time for it.
Well, and anything else to get off your chest?
Anything else to get off my chest?
Anything else on your mind?
On my mind, as it relates to social media, people should be very careful about following the fashion of tools, of trends, whatever it might be. You can spend an infinite amount of time on social media without getting anything real accomplished. So I would say that if you're using it for business purposes, if you can't measure it, you don't understand it. So using a vague sense of engagement or a vague sense of exposure or a vague sense of hits, whatever that might mean, that is not granular enough to be useful or accountable. I really feel that people should be, while they should be exploratory and experiment with social media, because there are a lot of things that can work well, you shouldn't be any less stringent with social media than you would with an offline television or radio campaign. Like, what are the numbers? If you're using it for pure business purposes, and if you're using it to like connect with customers, like that's fine, but it bothers me on some level. If, on the other hand, there's somebody they're paying because they love to just talk to customers, and every once in a while they unearth a problem, that's fine, but just understand that that's what you're doing. I'd say just be very clear on what you're trying to accomplish.